How modern dating has changed forever. What no one's talking about. Surprising insights. Dating. It's supposed to be one of the most universal experiences, but in 2025, it feels more like a never-ending maze filled with dead ends. Think about it. Endless swiping, ghosting, breadcrumbing, mixed signals. Have you ever asked yourself why dating feels impossible today? You're not alone. Here's the truth. Modern dating isn't just challenging, it's fundamentally broken. And these struggles didn't appear out of nowhere. They're the result of cultural shifts, technology, and changing expectations. But don't worry, there's hope. In today's video we'll uncover the hidden reasons modern dating feels so hard, why so many men and women are stepping away from relationships altogether, and most importantly, how you can thrive in this chaotic dating world. Stay with me because what we uncover today might completely change the way you approach love. Let's explore relationships, self-growth, and thriving in an ever-changing world. If you're new here, today's video will tackle one of the most requested topics, modern dating. Whether you're frustrated by the endless swiping or curious about how dating has changed, this video is for you. Here's what we'll cover. How dating evolved from traditional relationships to today's app-driven culture, why men and women are walking away from the dating game, the most confusing dating trends like ghosting and breadcrumbing, and actionable strategies to help you rise above these challenges. Grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive into the truth about modern dating. To understand why dating feels so broken today, we need to look at how it's evolved over time. From the 1950s to the 1970s, the era of traditional courtship. Back then, dating followed strict rules. You met people through family, friends, or your local community. Relationships were built on shared values and trust, and marriage was often the end goal. While this system provided stability, it left little room for individual freedom or personal choice. Moving on to the 1980s and 1990s, romantic freedom and personal choice. The feminist movement and sexual revolution redefined what love meant. Relationships became about emotional compatibility and personal fulfillment. This was the era when love stories became about the one, focusing on finding someone who truly understood you. Then came the 2000s, the internet revolution. Online dating platforms like Match.com and OkCupid completely changed how people connected. For the first time, singles could meet people outside their immediate circles. Relationships started to become more global and diverse. Finally, the 2010s to the 2020s, the swipe era. With the introduction of apps like Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge, dating became faster, more accessible, and for many, more transactional. These apps introduced new challenges like superficial judgments and choice overload. Let's dig deeper into how technology has reshaped relationships' endless choices. Dating apps provide access to thousands of potential matches, but this abundance creates decision fatigue. People often swipe endlessly, never fully committing because they wonder if someone better is just around the corner. The decline of emotional accountability. Ghosting and breadcrumbing thrive on dating apps because there's little accountability. It's easy to disconnect when there's no real-world connection. Addiction to validation. Apps are designed to keep you hooked. Each match or message releases dopamine, creating a cycle of seeking validation rather than meaningful connection. Now that we understand how dating has evolved, let's explore why it feels so difficult. For men. First, there are dual expectations. Men are expected to balance traditional roles as providers with modern expectations of emotional vulnerability. Second, there's rejection fatigue. Many men report feeling burned out by ghosting and rejection, which leads to frustration and withdrawal. For women. First, emotional burnout. Women often bear the emotional labor of managing mixed signals and unclear intentions. Second, the pressure of perfection. Social media adds pressure for women to present themselves as perfect partners, leading to insecurity and self-doubt. Modern dating trends often feel like a minefield of confusion and frustration. These behaviors aren't just random, they're symptoms of a dating culture shaped by technology, fear of vulnerability, and emotional burnout. Let's break down the most common trends and what they reveal about today's relationships. First up, ghosting. When someone you're dating suddenly cuts off all communication without explanation. Here's why it's so common. Apps make connections feel disposable. If things get awkward or difficult, it's easier to vanish than address the issue. People fear confrontation and rejection, so they avoid it entirely. But ghosting isn't just rude, it's emotionally damaging. It leaves the other person confused, wondering what went wrong, and questioning their self-worth. Real-life story. Meet Alex, who was ghosted after a 6-month relationship. One day, the texts stopped, the calls went unanswered, and Alex never got closure. It took months of therapy for Alex to rebuild trust in future relationships. How to handle ghosting. First, understand that it says more about them than about you. Second, avoid chasing closure from someone who doesn't respect your feelings. Third, focus on building connections with emotionally mature individuals. Breadcrumbing is another frustrating trend. This is when someone gives you just enough attention to keep you interested, but never enough to move the relationship forward. Why do people breadcrumb? Fear of commitment. They want to keep their options open. Desire for validation. They enjoy your attention without reciprocating. Real-life example. Imagine texting someone who only replies with vague responses or sporadic attention. They never commit to plans but always leave you hoping for more. Sound familiar? How to handle breadcrumbing. Set clear boundaries. Don't let someone dictate the pace of the relationship. Call it out, ask for clarity. If they avoid the conversation, they're not worth your time. More than a hookup but less than a relationship, situationships often leave one person feeling confused and unfulfilled. Why do they happen? People fear labels because they associate them with pressure. Both parties may have different expectations but avoid discussing them. Real-life story. Jessica spent 8 months in a situationship. They did everything a couple would, dates, family events. But whenever she brought up commitment, he'd say, "Let's not complicate things." It took her a while to realize she deserved clarity. FOBO, or fear of better options, is when people are hesitant to commit because they think someone better might come along. This mindset is fueled by endless profiles on dating apps, a culture of instant gratification, where we expect perfection at all times. The problem, FOBO prevents genuine connection. You can't build a meaningful relationship if you're always looking over your shoulder. How to overcome FOBO. Recognize that no one is perfect. Relationships are about growing together. Focus on the present. Instead of imagining hypothetical options, invest in the person in front of you. Dating isn't one size fits all. Cultural and racial dynamics add another layer of complexity to modern relationships. Let's explore some common challenges. For many individuals, stereotypes influence how they're perceived in the dating world. For example, Black women often face harmful stereotypes that portray them as too strong or intimidating. Asian men are frequently desexualized due to cultural biases. These stereotypes not only limit opportunities but also create emotional scars. People begin to internalize these biases, affecting their self-esteem and confidence in dating. Cultural expectations. In some communities, family expectations heavily influence dating decisions. This can be both a source of support and a source of pressure. For instance, in some Asian cultures, there's pressure to marry within the community, which limits the pool of potential partners. In Latino families, dating may come with expectations of balancing traditional roles with modern values. Navigating cultural barriers. Here's how to navigate cultural differences in dating. 1. Communicate openly. Don't assume, ask about their values and expectations. 2. Respect differences. Understand that not everyone shares the same cultural experiences. 3. Educate yourself. Take the time to learn about their background to foster understanding. Now that we've unpacked the challenges, let's focus on solutions. Here's how you can navigate modern dating successfully. 1. Set clear intentions. Know what you want and communicate it early. 2. Take breaks from apps. Real-life connections often feel more authentic. 3. Prioritize self-growth. Confidence and self-sufficiency are incredibly attractive. 4. Practice vulnerability. Real love requires honesty and openness. Remember, the goal isn't just to survive dating, it's to thrive and build meaningful connections. Modern dating might feel overwhelming, but it's not hopeless. By understanding these trends and staying intentional, you can rise above the chaos and find the love you deserve. If you enjoyed this video, hit like, subscribe, and let me know your biggest dating challenge in the comments. Let's start a conversation and create a community where we thrive together in love and life.